Christopher Polnitz, and I work in government affairs for Comcast Central Division. And I have the ultimate honor to sit with my mentor, Tina Simmons, who's our Senior Vice President of Human Resources at Comcast for Central Division. And for the most part, just tell us your story from college, and how you came into the role, and how you got into the industry.
Well, first of all, I have to say that this was a special opportunity for me to get to sit down with Christopher, because Christopher, you are a bright star, and I'm so excited that you're my mentee. It's an honor to actually mentor you. So that's number one. But number two, my story. So I went undergrad. I went to Villanova University. Yay, the NCAA Men's Championship. I know. That's actually why I chose Villanova, because they won the 1985 Men's NCAA Men's Championship. So went to Villanova, graduated with a business degree, and went straight from Villanova to, at the time it was called Bell Atlantic, but it's Verizon now. And had a wonderful time there, gained so many friends, learned so much. My best friend, actually, I met when I worked for Verizon. And went into, what was really cool about the opportunity was I had a chance to rotate through different departments. And I rotated into a department that at the time was called the business office, but ultimately it was the call center. So I really got my start in leadership in the call center at Verizon. And then through that, I went through some other companies working for an electric gas utility, leading call centers. I went on to do some startups and, thought that through that startup, there would be an IPO. I would retire a multi-billionaire. That didn't happen because I'm still working, but learned a lot during that time. And then ultimately had a chance to, I had to go on a sales call to try to sell our call center consulting services to Comcast. Ended up running into someone I used to work with at another company, and she asked me if I had any interest in coming over to Comcast. She gave me 2 job descriptions to read through, and I chose one to interview for and joined Comcast in a call center operations role, and loved what I was doing there in call center operations, but ultimately call center operations, and anyone listening to this or watching this right now knows call center is nothing but human resources. Right. So I was able to make that transition from call center operations into human resources, and I've never looked back. I absolutely love what I do each and every day. So that's how my path to HR, the Cliff's Notes anyway.
Cool. So I know coming out of college, you have a finish line, but somewhere down the line you take this turn and that turn, and you stop here and you stop there. Did you ever anticipate in serving in the role that you're in now?
No way. There is no way I could have imagined any of this. Let me tell you, all I wanted when I got out of college, I just wanted a job where I could carry a briefcase. Right. Okay? I was excited about, wow, I can get a job and get to wear a suit and carry a briefcase. And I didn't even know what that meant, because you don't have, growing up, you're a doctor or you're a lawyer or you're a fireman or there weren't, you don't talk about, I want to grow up and become an HR leader. Yeah. No, you know what I mean? So I had no concept of human resources or that I'd be able to get into, the best job in the world. So nope, I had no idea.
Cool. So one of the huge rewards from serving as a mentee in a mentorship program is the feedback that you get from your mentor when things aren't going so well or as you imagine. And one of the things I know, with all due respect to you, because I'm sure that no challenge is big enough for you. So, so at some point in time, to get to where you are now, you were met with a roadblock or an obstacle. How did you overcome that? What were some of the best practices that you used to deal and cope with that?
Right, that's a great question. And there have been so many kind of along the way, you know what I mean? And there's always some sort of a challenge, kind of a roadblock that you run into. And what's helped me is I've had some really great mentors along the way who have forgotten more than I know. And so just sitting down with them and talking about, okay, here's the issue. I know you've encountered this before. How did you handle it? And then I would take it. I'd take what they said, their best practice, and I'd add my Tina flavor to it,
Right.
to make it my own, to make it so it's authentic. So,
Absolutely.
whenever I'm dealing with a particular issue, people aren't looking at me crazy like, that's not you. What are you doing? So it really is about listening. I'm a very good listener, listening to what others have learned, and then to take it a step further, listening to what I have learned along the way. So taking a moment and with any negative situation or any challenge saying, all right, what am I supposed to learn from this? So either I don't do this again or I do it better the next time, but to take a moment and say, all right, even the bad stuff that's happened, there's something that I'm supposed to gain from this. And there is absolutely, and every single time, Christopher, there's something that I've gained from that challenge.
See, even now I'm still gaining knowledge. So growing up or in college, has there ever been a prominent figure or influential person that you thought that you can learn from? So for instance, someone on TV,
Right.
if you could, spend a day in the life with one person,
Right.
Who would that be?
Oh, wow. That's another tough one. Okay, there are two people. One's prominent, or was prominent at the time, and the other isn't so prominent, but she's prominent to me.
Okay.
Right? So the one would be Carol Berger, actually, was, I believe she was the first female president of a regional bell operating company. And she was my boss at one point when I was with Verizon. And the way she carried herself, her knowledge, her gravitas, her command of the room, her strategic abilities, knocked me over. And I first met her, I was really young when I met her, and very impressionable. And to be able to be that young and to be so close up on greatness was really key for me. And over time, our relationship kind of morphed into more, kind of a friendship versus, once I left the company. So she was one that, I did have an opportunity to spend time with and learn from. And the other, again, I said not prominent to the world, but prominent to me would be my mom.
Oh.
And what I've learned from her and what she's been able to impart to me is just unadulterated love, just very accepting and absolutely, only ahead, slightly ahead of my husband, my biggest cheerleader. And she just really, just her ability to make you feel comfortable, to just make you be able to relax. I would say that's the other one. Not, like I said, not prominent, but prominent to me, my sister, my brother, and my family. So.
Okay, well, we'll exclude mothers from the next question.
Okay.
Because I'm the epitome of a mama's boy.
Okay.
And they provide the best
I
advice.
know, they do.
So who gave you what was the best advice that a mentor has ever provided to you?
One of my mentors, and it's funny because I didn't like him very much, but I learned to respect him. And what he told me is I need to be the expert in my stuff. Whatever it is that I'm going to have responsibility for, no one in the room should know more about it than I do. And so what that did was that triggered for me an intellectual curiosity where I asked the question, well, why is that and why is that? And wanting to experience things and actually getting my hands dirty and actually being more engaged in the work. So rather than reading about it in a report or reading about it from online or whatever, that I actually experience it myself. So that mentor, again, who I came to respect, but really didn't like him at first because he was a pain in the behind. He taught me and encouraged me to be the most knowledgeable, know the most about whatever the topic was that I had responsibility for. So that would be one.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for mentees to know that mentorship programs are not always the friendliest or the most
Exactly.
likable.
They're not friends, they're
coaching
mentors. They
tools.
can become
Yep.
friends, but yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so for my next question, excuse me.
These are good questions, Christopher.
I got it, and this is why the question was such a stumper.
Right.
Okay, so where we are now today, 2016, college is changing, internships are changing, and graduates coming out of college are changing.
Yes.
And millennials. So, and corporations are changing. What advice would you have for the younger Tina Simmons?
Oh my God, see, that's not fair. I look for all of my millennial input from you, Christopher, so this is, you know what, I would, for the millennial Tina Simmons, I would say, relax, enjoy each moment along the way, don't ruminate so much over things that happen to you, let go, take what lessons you can out of what you've experienced, but don't beat yourself up continuously. Don't date that guy that you were dating when you were a millennial, because he's no good for you. He's no good for you, and this will go nowhere.
Oh, okay.
And
that's great advice, by the
way. And like I said, just enjoy the experiences, travel, being with friends, even sitting in a meeting. Enjoy that experience and take all the lessons you can from it. So that's what I would say.
Cool.
Yep.
So, and I know this question is typically asked to mentors a lot. So where would you like to see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years or even 15 years? So I mean, maybe.
Oh goodness, I'll do 15 years.
Okay, cool. 15 years.
I'm doing the math on it.
So
where I see myself in 15 years, me and my husband in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Retired. Yes, that's where I see myself in 15 years.
Okay.
And it's funny, Christopher, because you would have those questions, where do you see yourself, the younger, the millennial Tina, where do you see yourself in 5? Where do you see yourself in 5? And I am so, I am in a job where I feel enriched, where I feel that I'm making a difference, where I get energy from what I do and from the people that I get the honor of working with. So I really see wanting to do this for the foreseeable future.
Cool.
And frankly, I need to fund my shopping habit. So I need to stick around a little bit longer. But long term, retired in the Bahamas, but short term, doing what I'm doing.
Bahamas sounds nice.
I know, right?
So towards the beginning, you mentioned that you never thought that you would be sitting in this office,
Never.
in this desk.
Right.
So if you weren't in this office, in this desk, and you weren't having this session, where would you be? Would you be a basketball coach, a fashion designer, a pilot, astronaut? Where would you be?
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a great question, Christopher. I would be an astronaut.
Oh, wow.
I would be an astronaut. I was just having this conversation the other night with my girlfriends, and I told them that when the prices come down for civilians to go out into space, because now, I don't know, it's like $1 million or something ridiculous, I want to go.
Wow.
I really do. I would love to be an astronaut.
I think the astronaut would have the best malls in the universe.
Right.
In the universe.
Right. Oh, because what they're wearing right now, that is a glamour dome. But I would definitely want to be an astronaut, for sure.
Well, cool. So this is my last question, and it's more so of a riddle. And nowadays, the industry is extremely competitive, and mentees and rising stars, they have to go that extra mile to be competitive with like-minded candidates.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I'm going to ask you a riddle, and there is no right or wrong answer. Although some answers are better than others.
Okay.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to provide your answer. But
whatever.
I won't give the answer because it's just good food for thought for the audience out there. So.
But after we're done filming, you're going to give me the answer,
Absolutely.
right? All right. Okay, that's
answer.
cool. Okay.
So you're driving along in a storming evening by yourself, and you pull up to a bus stop. There are 3 people at the bus stop waiting. The man of your dreams, a sick elderly lady having a heart attack, and your best friend. There's only room in the car for one other person. What do you do?
Okay. That's quite a riddle. I can't wait to find out what the right answer is. But here's what I would do. Here's what I would do.
Okay.
I would, my best friend in the world, Barb,
Okay.
I would have her take my seat behind the wheel.
Right.
She is, and we call her the Energizer Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
She knows something about everything.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be in the car behind the wheel.
Okay.
The elderly lady who's ill, she would get in that seat, the passenger, the one available passenger seat. So my girlfriend Barb can take her to the emergency room.
Wow.
I would get out and be under the bus, the bus shelter with the man of my dreams, who's my husband Miko.
Wow.
And we would Uber to the to the hospital to check on the elderly lady that my best friend drove to the hospital.
Wow.
So that's what I do.
I think that's a phenomenal, that's a phenomenal answer.
I love Uber.
That's a phenomenal answer. Thank you so much, Tina, for
This
your
was
time. I appreciate
fun.
it.
This was
Thank you.
absolutely fun. Thank
you.
you, Christopher. You're so good at this. I think there's a future for you, and Oprah, move over.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.